From the 27th through to the 29th of January, Wolverhampton plays host to its first literature festival. There's all sorts of acronyms in there. I'm sure we'll get to those in a bit. But to tell us more about it, someone who's doing PR and is part of it, it's Jonn Penney. Hello.
Hello, Jason. How you doing?
I'm good. Good to see you. First time I caught up with you this year, and lots going on, in particular with this festival for the first time in Wolverhampton.
Absolutely. It's been quite a surprise, really. The enthusiasm for the festival seems to be bordering on enormous. We've got loads and loads of events, and I'm loving being part of publicising it and being part of performing in it.
There are 70 plus events throughout the whole of the weekend, so no one at all can get to all of them, but it means you've got to be really selective and choose your favourites, and I'm sure one of those is going to be the one you're doing.
Well, I hope people are interested enough to come along. You know, there's lots of other stuff to do for pretty much all of the family. It's just a very broad appeal, and the things that are occurring at the Literary Festival are occurring because people are interested enough to get involved. You know, this time around, it's just literally the people of Wolverhampton and people with a connection to Wolverhampton who feel like doing their little bit to make a festival happen, which is just quite a nice thing.
So tell us a bit about your event, because as I say, all of these surround books in some way. I mean, we've got Miles Hunt reading from his next novel, which is going to be an interesting piece on music. But it's slightly different with what you've got going on, because this looks back to the Stourbridge scene, way back when you were young.
It does. Yeah. Okay, well, the thing that I'm doing it with my good friend Martin Roach. And Martin Roach wrote a book in 91, I think it was, called The Eight-Legged Atomic Dustbin Will Eat Itself. So we're boasting the biggest title of event in the brochure this year, yeah. So that's good. But the book essentially was about the Stourbridge scene, the scene that sort of grew up around Stourbridge with bands like The Wonder Stuff, Pop Will Eat Itself, and my band Ned's Atomic Dustbin. And it was Martin's first book. He'd aspired to write books, but he'd not got anywhere yet, and he thought, well, I'll write what I know. And he was living in Stourbridge, in and around Stourbridge, so he thought, I'll write about the Stourbridge scene. A couple of the bands were really busy. We happened at the time to be in between tours and stuff, and so when Martin got in touch and asked if I'd talk to him to get his book off the ground, I said yes, I would, and we had a good long chat, and that enabled him to get the ball rolling with writing this book. Now, several months down the line, when he'd written the whole book about the Stourbridge scene, and he'd spoken to Miles from The Wonder Stuff, and he'd spoken to Clint from Pop Will Eat Itself, he then went and trod the pavements up and down the country, selling his book independently to record shops and all kinds of bookshops and things. So he essentially did it himself, DIY. You fast forward a few years on from there, and Martin ended up being the biggest music publishing house in the country.
And all this is because this happened in the first place. So it's all born out of, for me, was the music I was listening to when I was growing up, obviously with Ned's and with the Wonder Stuff. They were the two main ones. I think Clint was just a bit further to the left field for the tastes in my sixth form common room. But even so, I haven't been to gigs later on. In fact, I bumped into you at a gig that Clint was doing. It's really just such atmospheric music, and you think back and you go, yeah, that formed that period of my life. So it's going to be interesting the way you approach this, because it's not just a book reading, it's that you're talking to each other, you're talking through things, and I suppose you don't even know quite what's going to happen on the night yet. Well,
this is the thing. I mean, I have to admit, I'm quite nervous about it. In fact, Martin and I are both quite nervous, because in fairness, you know, we probably both like what we create to do the talking for us. You know, I'm used to interviews and stuff. Obviously, I would be because of what happened with the band. But talking about stuff's a damn sight harder than actually doing it, you know. But Martin and I felt that there might be some stuff that's interesting to share with people. And I guess the kind of underlying thing about this whole thing is that we view ourselves as quite mild men of pop and lit, you know. But we stuck to our guns, and we were independent and did things the way we wanted to do them, and look, we succeeded. You know, we got what we'd aspired to. We got where we wanted to be, and that is quite an amazing thing to happen for people who are not great salesmen of their own works. People who just crack on and do their art. You know, and we quite like to sort of get that idea over, but also at the same time, there's a lot of things, I guess, that people might wonder about, I guess, about the Stourbridge scene, the reality of what it actually really was on the ground. And that kind of interview has never really happened. That kind of stuff has never really come out because it's not really what people have asked us in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're planning to do is ask each other the questions we would have liked to have been asked to give us the opportunity to give the answers that we think people might be interested in hearing.
And you never know, you could be heckled at this point as well with additional questions. So that was part of the plan, is it, as well? It may be not quite a Q&A, but the chance to expand on something further if somebody has already got that seed now and they want to see the tree grow from whatever it is you've been talking about.
Well, I'm anticipating some heckling.
Good.
They would not be Ned's fans if they didn't. But we are actually definitely going to have a Q&A at the end of it. So we will be inviting people to ask their own questions.
So if they do want to find out more and get tickets, do they have to book in advance for this one?
Well, actually, Martin and I decided to make our event free. That way, I guess nobody can say, oh, that was rubbish, I paid 10 quid. But our event's free, so it'll be turn up on the day. We're hoping that there will be plenty of people. We're hoping there's not too many people, so we can't get everyone in, but it should be fine. So the best place to look is the website, which is wolvesliteratureFestival.co.uk.
So full details of all the events there, but when are you on?
We're on Friday night at the Slade Rooms at 7 p.m.
So just turn up at the door. There's going to be a queue. You'll be able to spot it, I can tell, because it is going to be a very popular event and an ideal venue for that sort of thing as well, because there's so many great music acts coming through there. And had it been the Slade Rooms at the time, I'm sure you'd have loved to have played it back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have been the Wolverhampton gig for our band at the start, wouldn't it? And the nice little bit of scheduling that's occurred is that Miles is actually doing his diary readings as the next event on the Friday night after ours. So
also in the Slade Rooms?
Also in the Slade Rooms.
Full details of all 70 events from across the whole weekend on the website wolvesliteratureFestival.co.uk. You can find out all about them there. Get yourself booked up or find out which ones you can just turn up to for free. But it's going to be a great night, some great reminiscences on Ned's, and it's going to be a good time to be had by all, I think.
It should be a great festival.
Yep, it's over the whole of the weekend, so that's the 27th through to the 29th of January for Wolverhampton's first Literature Festival. Make sure you're there.